I was originally just gonna talk about the live action Cat in the Hat movie because it's insane, but I remembered that the show existed and it is just as insane. Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back. In this video, I wanted to talk about this kids movie. It says it's for kids, but it really shouldn't be. We open with this diva Joan working for Hank Humberflube, who is a clean freak. He fires this dude on his first day because he shook his hand. You're fired! And every half month, he has a different one of his employees throw a house party, and this time it will be at Joan's house, and he tells her that if her house is as messy as last time, she will be fired, so she has a lot at stake. Also, her babysitter canceled on her. We then see this shot of a town, and it's giving A Wrinkle in Time, and I have a confession to make. When I was in the 4th grade, I was supposed to read this book, but I never did because I don't like reading. But I was terrified that someone would find out. And then when this movie came out around the same time, I was also, like, it scared me, because I thought that someone would bring up the fact that I never actually read this book, and it still haunts me to this day. I don't think I can ever watch that movie. I have too much guilt for not actually reading it. We meet our main characters, Conrad and Sally. They are Joan's kids, and Sally is this little angel of a child. She's also an icon played by the legend Dakota Fanning. And Conrad is a little. He wrecks the house while playing around, and he lets their dogs Nevins escape. Joan gets home and scolds Conrad and grants him for a week. Their neighbor Larry then comes in with their dog, and he's dating Joan. The scene made me so uncomfortable. Like I said, not a kid's movie. He also hates Conrad and wants to send him to military camp. Dude, if you're trying to marry into her family, maybe you should like her family. Just a thought. Conrad is a little but Larry's also a chop, as we'll see later. Joan then gets called back to her job and calls Mrs. Kwan to babysit and tells her kids not to step foot in the living room or else. The kids then sit by the window all dreary, and this is where the book starts. Also, hate Dr. Seuss, screw that guy. They meet the cat and they run away screaming. How did this not wake up Mrs. Kwan or alert the neighbors? Like, they were yelling. He then checks them with a phonometer, and we see that Sally is a serial arsonist and Conrad is a bedwetter, so they gotta learn how to have fun with a musical number. There was this cat I know back home where I was bred. He never listened to a single thing his mother said. He never used a little box. He made a mess in the halls, and so they took him to the vet. Got both his buh. Boy, that wasn't fun. Fun. Do I keep picking musicals to force people to listen to my bad singing? Yes. Also, not a kids movie. I keep saying that, but these jokes did fly right over my head as a child, so maybe I'm just stupid, but it does its job of being funny to a kid and even funnier as an adult because this movie was hilarious. Also, the fish can talk now. I don't know why, but he's just gonna be heckling from the sidelines this whole time. And the cat calls him Shamu. Can we leave that orca alone? Didn't we do enough to it while it was alive? Can't we leave its name and its legacy be? Conrad and Sally signed this contract saying that they can have as much fun as they want and nothing bad will ever happen to them. The cat then breaks Joan's one rule and goes into the living room, but Conrad is like, "We signed the contract, so nothing bad is gonna happen," and he convinces his sister to do something spontaneous for once. The cat then goes under the hood of the couch to make it extra bouncy, and as they're bouncing, Larry walks in again and catches them, and the only reason why he came in was to raid Joan's fridge, taking some of his food and a pack of beer. As I said, chop, but he has to leave because he's allergic to cats. The kids and the cat then make cupcakes using the Cupcakeinator that makes cupcakes out of anything. Anything? Anything. But they explode and make a mess of the walls. The cat then uses Joan's dress to try and clean up the mess, but honey, it was ruined when she bought it. Yeah. Why does the cat have a New York accent? The kids then yell at him, saying that he needs to clean up the mess that he just made, and he brings in this box with thing 1 and thing 2 inside, and they just start messing up the house even more. Conrad is interested in the box, and the cat explains that it is a portal from his world to theirs, and he sets his one rule to not open it, and then he even puts a lock on it. While the things are destroying the house, Conrad being he is, doesn't listen and picks the lock and attaches himself to Nevin's collar, and then the things throw him out the window. The things only do the opposite of what you tell them. Sound like someone we know? Larry catches Nevins. Now, before we see what he's actually like, he lives like filth and his TV gets repossessed because he's a broke bitch. He is dead set on marrying Joan, probably for her money, so he sets off to get the dog. Conrad, Sally, and the cat also set out to look for Nevins, and they end up at this girl Denise's house who invited everyone to her birthday except for Sally because she's bossy. But she's bossy in a diva way. These 8-year-olds need to know their place. But they didn't get the dog, Larry got him, and he's going to pick up Joan from work. Our main characters chase after him in this machine called the Slow. Better than its previous name, the Super Hydraulic Instantaneous Transporter, or for short, They trick Larry into handing over the dog and end up at this rave with Paris Hilton, but the cat loses his hat and swapped it for one without magic. They are now racing Joan and Larry back to the house, and Conrad calls the things to help stall his mom, but Larry is still in pursuit after them. Back at the house, it looks fine at first, but Larry then falls down, the mother of all messes, and I remember the CGI being better as a kid, but this was made in 2003. Also, this ride, I wanted to go on so badly as a kid. They literally have a Universal promotion in the movie. Why didn't they make this into a ride there? There's a whole Dr. Seuss land in Islands of Adventure. But Conrad shuts down the machine and saves his sister, and the house goes back to normal for about a second, and then it falls apart, and the kids yell at the cat, forcing him to leave, and they stand together at the foot of the broken stairs, waiting for their mom to open the door and be mad at them, but the cat walks in. He actually rides in on this machine and starts fixing the house and explains that in the contract that they signed, there was a clause that stated if Conrad were to open the crate, the contract would be null and void, but, if Conrad and Sally learned their lesson, the contract would be reinstated, so nothing bad really did happen to them. The Webulous World of Dr. Seuss aired on Nick Jr. in 1996 and was produced by the Jim Henson Company. The whole reason why I wanted to talk about this show was because I had some of the episodes on DVD when I was a kid, and the whole concept of Little Cats A, B, and C fascinates me. And they weren't in the first episode. They just showed up in the second one, and they weren't even introduced until the next episode, and they aren't even real characters yet. In episode 3, we're also introduced to Yertle the Turtle, a reoccurring villain. In this episode, he's trying to overthrow these two kings and steal their royal beard, which they share. In episode 4, we're introduced to another reoccurring villain, the Grinch. He steals this girl's Zubblewump egg, because it is said that the song of the Zubblewump is beautiful and he wants it for himself. I don't understand this plan. The Grinch hates fun and everything beautiful. It makes more sense if he wanted to take it so that she couldn't have it. I do also want to make a video on the live-action Grinch movie, but I want to wait till December for that. We see the Grinch again in the next episode as he's trying to get everyone to leave Lake Maloon so he can have it all to himself. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lodge of beautiful Lake Maloon. The show was full of songs that just got stuck in my head, and they were actually kind of really good. In episode 6, we actually see the cat interact with the characters of the story. In previous episodes, he was just in his house, and he's supposed to be telling the story to us, the viewer. But in this episode, he's selling the simplifier, and this whole episode felt like anti-AI and industrialism. The simplifier was supposed to make your life simple with just the press of a button, but this dad character gets wrapped up in buying new parts for the machine that slowly takes over his house and his life, and we see him like distracted and missing events with his family, including his own birthday. But when he finally presses the button to make his life simple, it just destroyed the machine, allowing for him to go back to his previous, more simple life. So the cat built this machine that is supposed to make your life simple, but instead he ruined the life of this father. Technically, the machine did do what it said once he pressed the button, but the cat was this family for fun. This is only the start of the cat's capitalistic greed. In episode 7, we aren't introduced to Horton. He's been here the whole time, but hasn't really been important till now. But in this episode, we are introduced to his son, Morton, who can fly. He is an elephant-bird hybrid, and who is his mother? We never see her or even hear of her existence. So, Horton either and got full custody of the child, or he spawned this elephant bird thing on his own. In this episode, Yertle is back, and I love him. He was hilarious this episode, and his vocals were on point. He's getting framed for stealing the Snoozer statue, but it turns out the statue was a creature that sleeps for 100 years, moves location, and then sleeps for another 100 years. So Yertle didn't steal the statue, it just got up and walked away. Episode 10 follows Fox and Nox. This isn't their first appearance, they were in the Lake Maloon episode. The beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lodge of beautiful Lake Maloon. But this was their first individual episode, and I hate to say it, actually no, I love to say it. They are gay and in love. This whole episode, Fox was trying to cheer up Nox while they were trying to get tickets for a vacation that they won. But they faced many challenges along the way, and their dynamic was so Bert and Ernie that I can't not ship them. Episode 11 was one that I watched as a kid. It was in a DVD special called The Cat's Adventures, and what I learned is that these DVD and VHS specials took 2 to 3 random episodes and put them together, because the other 2 episodes in this DVD are from season 2. I also found this DVD and some other historical artifacts, like the Ben 10 Race Against Time DVD, which I made a video on, and you should check out, and several other DVDs of movies that I want to make videos on, sneak peek, as well as this Monster High Boo York book that I didn't even know that I had. Back to Cat in the Hat, in this episode he once again plays a role in the story, this time taking a kid on an elevator ride around the world to meet new people. This elevator also works as a time machine, taking them to the future on Mars. Okay. In episode 13, we have more instances of the cat's capitalistic greed. He is selling the Muckster to clean people's houses. He sells one to Jane Kangaroo, and he tells her to never turn the dial to 6. Why does it have that setting in the first place? Because once she does turn the dial to 6, it starts sucking up everything and everyone in its path. The cat keeps on putting people in danger. No one should be buying things from him. Nothing that interesting happened in episode 14, Norval the Great, but I headcanon this as the same talking fish as from the live action movie. In episode 15, however, we see the Grinch again, and his dog Max saves this baby, and he's now being paraded as a hero. This obviously upsets the Grinch, but Max abandons his fame, wanting to go back to his neglectful owner. Neglectful isn't the right word. He's less neglectful and more abusive. In episode 20, the last episode of season 1, we get to see how the Grinch meets Max. He was a stray dog that kept on showing up at the Grinch's door wanting to play, but the Grinch kept antagonizing him. But he ended up growing to love Max because he was able to scratch an itch that the Grinch couldn't reach. Season 2 definitely had a bigger budget, as we're introduced to several new characters and locations, and the cat's house is a physical set now. All of the other locations still use 3D animations for their setting, but the cat's house looks so good, and this is what I remember most from my childhood. He also has this new roommate, Terrence McBird, who he just calls Bird. He's the one that the cat is now teaching all of these lessons to. He still is telling the story to us, the viewer, but now that there is another person, we, the audience, pay less of a role in these episodes. Like, in season 1, in some of the episodes, he was telling the story to the little cats. What are the little cats? Are they his children? In season 1, we only see A, B, and C, but in this episode, we also see P and Z, implying there is a whole alphabet of little cats. I have so many questions, but I would be here all day if I were to ask all of them, so I'm just gonna move on with this episode. In this episode, we also see the Webuloscope for the first time. The cat uses it to essentially spy on people around the Webulous world and tell a story. There are now 2 stories per episode, and he comes back to the Webuloscope for each one. Okay, the actual plot of this episode is Terrence is having trouble falling asleep, so the cat shows us people around the Webulous world and what they're dreaming about, one of which is the Grinch, who is having a dream about having a birthday party, and he gives Max chocolate cake. Don't do that! There's also a part in the episode where the little cats were yawning, and it did make me start yawning too. In episode 2, I was able to get a good look at the dynamic between the cat and Terrence, and guys, they were roommates.
Oh my forgot they were roommates.
I might just be so woke that every time I see people of the same gender interact, I instantly think they're gay. But in this episode, these two kept on cuddling up close to each other and hugging, and this continues to happen for the rest of the series. As I said, they were roommates. In episode 3, we get the very overused "we forgot your birthday to throw you a surprise party" trope. That's about it. In episode 4, nothing that important happened either, but this is the first time we meet Pam I Am, the repairwoman. Sam I Am is also here, and he's a chef. Episode 6, The Cat in the Hat's Flower Power, was another one that I saw in the DVD special. It is the first day of spring, and Terrence and Kat are trying to grow a purple and pink papiola flower. I didn't think I had remembered the songs from this episode, but as soon as the Binky Blossom song started, I knew the whole thing. Binky blossom, small and light and gay. Welcome, welcome, Binky Blossom, on this perfect day. The Grinch doesn't like the Binky Blossoms for obvious reasons, so he uses this snow machine to make snow. Where did he get that? And why do I think he bought it from the cat? His plan doesn't work because the townsfolk just celebrate how pretty the snowflakes are. When the papiola blooms, the cat congratulates Terrence for his flower blooming, but Terrence says that it's their flower. Your Honor, they're gay. Episode 8 was also in that DVD special. Terrence wants to fly to the highest branch of his tree, but he's scared, so his roommates help cheer him on. I'm trying my best not to talk about every episode this season, but in literally every episode, the cat does the nicest things for Terrence, and it's so cute. Like in episode 9, Kat got the Terrence this floaty for his bird bath. I also wanted to talk about one of the stories in this episode. It was Morton trying to deliver this cake for a squirrel's birthday, and it just reminded me of the Random Encounters song Everything is Muffins. Cause I'm a male mare pony, and I'm taking a note that got a vow that I'm bound to uphold. No matter rain, sleet, or snow, or muffins, cupcakes, or boats will break my word. I'm undeterred. I told you there was a reason I keep picking musicals. Season 2, Episode 13, A Bird's Best Friend. History will call them friends. Terrence needs to learn the importance of sharing, but the cat kept on talking about how badly he wanted to play with his friend Terrence. He also asked for help from our other favorite gays, Fox and Knox. They're partners? Yeah, tell that to Jason Victor. Obviously, Terrence learns the importance of sharing and says how much fun he had playing with his best friend. Come on. Come on. Dr. Seuss himself is gonna come back from the grave and send me a cease and desist. Cease and desist. In episode 15, we meet Terrence's brother Lester, and the way Terrence introduced the cat.
Lester, this is the Cat in the Hat. He lives here too, and he's my friend.
Your friend?
That is how people introduce partners. I am not crazy. Okay, but Lester kinda sucks. He's a huge snob, and he doesn't like the cat. He does come around and be nicer, but I'm knocking points for homophobia because he did not seem very supportive of his brother. Not much happened in episode 16, but the cat made shadow puppets like this elephant, and this bird, an 8-handled sword Divergencilla Divine General Maharaga. That's why he's so powerful. He's just using cursed energy. Potentially. In episode 17, we meet Little Cat Fleep, who only speaks in Fleep, and he just parachuted from the ceiling like Mary Poppins. Where did he come from? I am so confused. We are so close to the end of the series, and they just drop this on us? My theory about the little cats is that A through Z are the cat's children, either biologically, don't ask me about a mother, or they're his younger cousins that he just takes care of, but he is their primary caretaker. And Little Cat Fleep is just another cousin. If I think too hard about it, I might go insane, so that's just what I'm gonna go with. In episode 18, the cat wants to learn how to fly, and Terrence eventually picks him up and flies him around, and then he kisses him on the cheek. My jaw dropped. They are so in love.
Be who you are for your pride.
And in episode 19, the Cat in the Hat helps a friend Terrence wrote a song about them that he wanted to play with just the cat. He does come around to having the little cats play, but he wanted it to be just him and the cat playing his song that he wrote about them together. Sadly, the last episode of the series was a huge nothing burger. They just played pretend. Thank you all so much for spiraling with me. Going into this video, I thought I was just gonna be talking about the wacky world of the Cat in the Hat, but instead I got queer media. The show was so much fun. I genuinely enjoyed watching this show so much. It was so much fun. The movie too. Like the world of Dr. Seuss is so insane, and I know this won't be my last video on it. Like as I said, I want to make a video about The Grinch, and I do want to make a Lorax video. But I had so much fun making this, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!